by the end of this video, you will be able to fully rig this character. I imported this character from a website called Mixamo. I downloaded it, then I went to File, Import, and then I imported it depending on what type of file it is. And then this character appeared. So, first of all, to rig a character, you want to apply the scale if you ever scaled it down. So Control A and apply the scale first of all. And just do it just in case, because it might go wrong. And then after, make sure to make your 3D cursor over here, because we're going to first put a bone right there. Shift A, and if we go into armature, you're going to add a single bone. And as you can see, we have added a bone. So, go into edit mode. You can hit tab to go into edit mode. Go into edit mode, and then you want to scale this bone down. And as you can see, this bone is actually inside the mesh, so you can't really see it properly. So as you can see, we got two property panels, okay? One is for armature and one is for the bone. We're going to click on the armature property, and in the viewport display, we are going to enable in front. And now, the bone, we will see it. Even if it's in the mesh, we'll still be able to see it. So I'm going to quickly move it inside the mesh. Now, when we are rigging, we're going to be using these shortcut keys. 1, to go into front orthographic view. 3, to go to the right orthographic view. And 7, to go to the top orthographic view. So we're going to be doing this because we're going to be aligning the bones, the armature bones. So then we'll get a perfect shape. Now we're going to use a very efficient method to make the rigging. We're just going to add the bones on one side of the a mesh, and then we're going to use a method called symmetrize. So then we can do it. We're going to do right click and then symmetrize right there, and then it would flip it on the other side. They're going to have a fully rigged character. So first, we're going to grab the bone right here and place it down here. It's going to be our main bone. And then we're going to go to number 3 to go, press 3 to go to the right orthographic view. And then you'll see we have our bone inside. Perfect. Now to add another bone, you're going to select the pointy bit over here. I'm going to do E to extrude another bone. I'm going to make it go up here. Now these two are the bones in the chest. I'm just gonna make it 3 bones. I'm gonna move this a bit back right there because our span is not straight. And there we go. I'm gonna go to the front view and make sure it's fully straight. And then we're going to hit the E key to make it go over here. And then right there, I'm gonna go number 3 to align it. Hit G to align it right there. Once you have done that, go back to the front orthographic view and then E to extrude. And you can see I have that type of mesh which shows where the bones are. And then place it there, then go to number 3, then grab it, and then align it. Right there. To grab it, just hit the G key. So then I'm going to E to extrude again, and there we go. Then number 3 to go into right orthographic view and align it. And I'm going to extrude again, and no, and the process is the same all the way. 3. And then I'm going to align it. And if you can't see properly, it's alright, it's just a rough position. And then you can also go to top orthographic view to see if it's straight as well. Right there. And now as you can see, we have done the arm and the chest. Now we are going to do the fingers. To do the fingers, we're just going to do the top orthographic view because we can't really see it properly if we're like that. Now, we're just going to hit the E key to extrude to each finger, and then we're going to delete these bones, and you'll see why, because this is going to be a very efficient method. Now we're going to make the bones for the fingers, so right there, there, and there, and then we're going to go to right orthographic view and make sure they are straight. This one doesn't look very straight. It's probably because to make it like this. And then grab this one. We need to make it as perfect because then it might cause you some problems. There we go. Now we're going to do the same for all of the fingers. If you're new to rigging, I think you should probably look at the whole video first, then you should do it. So I'm going to quickly grab this, G to grab, and align it. Like so. I'm going to do the same for here. E to extrude a bone and keep on extruding right there. Now I'm going to grab it and align it like so. As you can see over here, our bone has disappeared. So I'm just going to hit delete this bone and then delete this bone as well. So I have to do it again. If there's a problem, so we add another bone. See, we had like so many bones here. If you make that mistake, then your rigging won't work. So you can do it again. So E to extrude and then E to extrude again. And now if you go to top view 7, and then we're going to align it like so. There we go. And now we're going to do the same over here. 7 to go into top view and then align it. As you can see, all of these bones are parented to this one main bone. And in a minute, we're going to name these bones because we have to name it to use the method that showed you how to symmetrize. And now for the thumb, this might be the harder because it's a bit bent, but we're going to align it. See, I just added an extra bone and we don't need to do that. So now we have done that. You can see we haven't aligned it, so we're going to hit the G key. And we're going to align these bones right there. Grab it. And make sure you look at all views so it's perfect. And G right there. As you can see, we have done it. I'm just going to fix it from here. So look at all views, done, looks good. Side view looks alright. Maybe this bone right here needs to be a bit bent. This looks alright, and then 7, amazing. Now we have done that, we are just going to delete these bones over here. So we're going to do X to delete, and you'll see that it's parented. When there's a line, that means this bone right here is parented, is the parent of this bone right here. So delete this one, and nothing would happen. So this is more tidy. This bone is parented to all of these. Or I should say this bone is parented to this one. This is the parent, this is the child. Okay. Now we have done that, we're going to use a slightly same method for this one. So we're going to go to front view, and then we're going to click on this circle, E to extrude, look into side view and see if it's straight. It's straight. And then we're going to do E to extrude this large bone. 3 to go inside view, and maybe want to bend it a little back right there. And then we're going to do the same for this bone right here. E to extrude right there. Go to number side view, maybe bend it a little bit and then move this. Grab it right there. Looking good so far. And then we're going to do another E to extrude the bone. Make sure you extrude it from the right bone because then it may be a mistake. So for the bone right here, I am just going to make a straight bone like this and delete this bone because this bone is kind of unnecessary, and then it's parented to this bone. So then we're just going to make it the right side by grabbing it, these edges. If you want to move a whole bone, then you're supposed to grab the main part so you can grab the whole thing. But if you want to make it larger, you just grab these circle things so you can extrude the tips right there. Just grab it and then you can go to front view and align it. See, it's not aligned properly. Then I maybe want to go to back view like so. Perfect. If it's not sure, it doesn't matter. It's going to be alright. So I'm just going to quickly go over here and maybe change. You can see you don't have to worry about these properties, but just hit the N key if you want to look at these properties, and I have another video about them. So now you have done that. We are just going to delete this bone right here because we don't need that. It's going to be parented, and as you can see, it is not parented. So to parent the bone, we're going to hit select this bone and then shift select this bone or this bone. It depends which bone you want to parent it to, and then shift select, Control P to parent, and then keep offset, and you can see there's a line now. It's parented. Now we have done that. This looks amazing. Now this is the most boring part. Wait, I will show you what the boring part is in a minute. But first we have to make the head as well. Don't forget the head because you have to move the head sometimes. Go into front view, straight, and then grab it to make it straight. Then go to side view and then make it properly straight. Now we have done that. We are going to name the bones. Now this is what the longest part is, and it's very daunting, and because it's very, very repetitive. So first of all, we're going to click this bone, and then we go into bone properties. Now we have to name this bone. Now we're going to name this, obviously, head. There's only one head, so let's name it head. And then this, we're going to name it chest. And then over here, we're going to name it, let's name it lower. Let's name it stomach. It's the stomach. Now, once you have done that, let's go to arms. This would be the shoulder. Then we're gonna add a dot, capital L, and then this dot L stands for left side. And as you can see, this is the left side of the mesh. And since there are two shoulders, there's gonna be one over here and the one over here. We're gonna add a shoulder dot right and shoulder dot L. And then Blender has its own system which will create the shoulder dot R when it's used the symmetrize method. So you wanted to be careful and write dot L with a capital L. You can name anything for the front part, but you have to add the dot L. We didn't add it for the head because there's only one head, only one chest, only one stomach. That's why we didn't add that dot L. We didn't add a dot L. So for the shoulder, we're gonna add a dot L. Shoulder dot L. Then we're gonna add a upper arm dot L, and then lower arm dot L, and then hand dot L. And then make sure you name every single bone, even in the fingers, with a dot L. It doesn't matter what the name is, but it has to have a dot L. And don't forget to name these leg bones with dot L. Once I have done that, I will be back in a minute. Alright, once you have named every single bone in the body, as you can see, I have named every single bone, even the fingers. And you have to add a dot L for the bones that are two. So except from the stomach, chest, and then the head, you don't have to write a dot L. But for the bones that are two, like just two shoulders, then you have to add a dot L. So once you have named every single bone, then you're going to stay in edit mode, hit the A key or select all the bones in the armature, right click, and then click symmetrize, and you will see it just has reflected. Now if we look here, if we click on the bone, you will see a shoulder dot right, upper arm dot right, and the bones that we just did, that I named. So I named these bones, and then they just flipped and I just added a dot R. And now as you can see, we didn't have to waste our time doing the whole body. We just had to do one side, and then we had to do symmetrize, and then it did it on the other side for us. Now we have done that. What we are going to do is that we're going to go back into object mode. We're going to select the mesh, then shift select the armature, and then we are going to control P, and then we can set parent with automatic weights. And now you have done that. If we go to pose mode, control tab is the shortcut key for that. Now if you move a bone, the armature will move as well. Look at that. We have rigged the body, as you can see. You can create awesome poses with this, and as you can see, everything is moving. To add IK to this, there's very simple, but before we start to do that, I'm going to show you the difference between forward kinematics and inverse kinematics. So in object mode over here, I'm going to move the 3D cursor over here. I'm just going to add a new armature. You don't have to do this demonstration. And in edit mode, I'm going to extrude out 3 bones. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Shift A, and then at edit mode, extrude out like that. So right now, as we can see, both are different armatures, okay? all three of them. I'm just going to demonstrate on these two. And this bone, I'm going to select this bone in object mode, go in pose mode, and then this is forward kinematics, okay? If we rotate this bone, it will rotate the bones in front of it because this is the parent of these two bones. That is what's forward kinematics. Forward, it will rotate and do anything the same that the parent does. So if I rotate this bone, it will only rotate the one itself and the bone in front of it, and then like that. So you actually have to move all three of the bones to get to this specific pose. So now I will show you what's the difference between forward kinematics and inverse kinematics. So I'm going to apply a IK bone to this. Okay, so I'm going to go back into object mode, go into pose mode of this, but first I'm going to need to extrude out a bone. This will be the IK bone. This will be the bone that controls all three of these bones. Then so what we're going to do is I'm going to do Alt P to clear the parent, so then it's not going to be parented to it like that. We're going to rename this bone so we know what's called. I'm just going to name it Demo IK like that. And we're going to apply the bone constraints on this bone, the one next to it. So go into pose mode. It only works in pose mode. In bone constraints, inverse kinematics, target is going to be the armature number 2. Then this bone, and make sure the chain length is 2-3 because there's 3 bones as you can see there. Now if we move this bone, as you can see, it controls all 3 of the bones like that. You only have to move one bone for it to move all 3 of them because this is inversely kinematic. To get that position, just need to move one bone, and as you can see, if you do it like that, it goes to the exact same position, just moving one bone like that. And that is the difference between forward kinematics and inverse kinematics. Now we're going to apply it to this rig. To go back into object mode and delete both of them, let's go over here. First of all, we're going to do the hand. So over here, I'm going to go into edit mode of this armature. Over here, going to extrude out a bone. This will be the hand IK bone for this and that. So now we're going to do is that we are just going to rename this bone. First of all, it's going to be hand IK dot L. I remember it's the left side of the real body from this guy's perspective. So hand IK dot L like that. Then next we have to just clear the parent. We need to always clear the parent because then it won't work. Then we go into pose mode. We're gonna put the bone constraint on this bone right here. Inverse kinematics, and it's always the same process. And always make sure that the chain length is always set to what you want. Because if it's 0, then it's always going to go to the root bone over here. But we're gonna set it to 2. And it's going to be the same for you guys, unless it's some kind of weird creature you're inverse kinematically rigging. It's going to be 2 because there's 2 bones over here in the arm. So now if you grab your IK bone in pose mode, G to grab, you can now pose the arm by only moving one bone like that. That is really awesome. Now, if you wanted to move the hand bone as well, like rotate it around, right now you can't do that. But if you wanted to do that, first of all, reset the IK bone location by doing Alt G in pose mode. Then go into edit mode. Select this, shift select the IK bone, Control P to keep to parent it right now. So now if we go into pose mode, you can grab it like that, move it like that, and then you can rotate the hand. And then you can do everything with only one bone. Now, obviously, if you wanted to pose the fingers, you have to do that individually because fingers are very tiny. That's kind of impossible to do. So now we have done that, and that looks kind of cool. So now we're going to do the same thing and apply it to the other hand like that. First of all, Alt G and R to reset the location and rotation IK bone. and do the same thing over here. We are going to look at the target bone later, because first of all we need to understand how the over here, as you can see here, I want you to understand how the target bone, the IK bones work. Then I'll show you how to do the pole target later in this video. So do the same thing over here, go into edit mode, and then we are going to put the IK bone right over here. Then in top view, we're going to E to extrude it like that. Then Alt P to clear the parent. And then what we're going to do is that we are going to put a bone constraint on this bone right here in pose mode. Like that. Inverse kinematics. Target is going to be the armature. And we forgot to rename this. Hand IK. Make sure you do it properly, because when you come back to this, you don't want it to be messy. So hand ik.r like that. So we're going to go back into edit mode of this over here in pose mode. Then we're going to find that bone, hand ik.r, and like that we have done that. Change that to 2, and that's going to be the gig. That's going to give us the same result. And then lastly, we're going to quickly parent it to that bone. And now in pose mode, if you go in pose mode, demonstrate, you can grab it and rotate it like that. So that is awesome. Now I'm going to go over the target bone. So the target bone is going to be controlling the joints of the bone. So first of all, I'm just going to quickly go into edit mode and select this bone right here. E to extrude out like that. Alt P to clear the parent. I'm going to grab this and move it across like that. This is going to be the target bone. We're going to rename it to arm target dot L. And we are just going to go over here in pose mode, add over here in pole target is going to be the armature, and bone is going to be arm target dot L. Now, as you can see, this arm has rotated a little bit. So as you can see, we need to so it needs to be minus 90 degrees, because whenever you do a pole target, the arm rotates. It kind of rotates, and if you do on the legs as well, it will rotate as well. So it's always going to be minus 90, 90, 180, negative 180. You just have to mess around with it until your arms are straight. So like that. So once we have done that, it will probably work now. So before, just save this quickly, because then you don't want to lose everything. Now I'll show you how it works. So in pose mode, if you grab this like that, and you want to move this like over here, you grab this and you move this. As you can see, this is controlling this joint over here. If you move this like that, it's joint controlling it. So that is what the target pole does. It controls the location of the arm like that. That is an irregular position, so if you want it to be more natural, you probably just rotate the hand like that and then move the target bone like that. But that is for another video. I'm just showing you how to put inverse kinematics to it. So we're going to clear the rotation and the location, and the same for this. So once we have done that, we're going to do the same thing over here. So back into edit mode, grab this, E to extrude out in top view, make it a bit straight, grab the bone, select it, Alt P, clear the parent, G to grab it across, move it like that, rename the bone to arm target dot R. And then what we're going to do is that we're just going to do the same thing, obviously. In pose mode we go, and then the object is going to be the armature, and then the bone going to be the arm target dot R. So it will do the same thing. So now we are going to do it. We're going to apply inverse kinematics to the legs. So we're going to extrude out a bone over here. It's going to be the foot IK bone. rename it to foot.ik.l, and then we are going to add a bone constraint to this one. So in pose mode, we are going to go over here, add bone constraint, inverse kinematics, target going to be armature, and that's going to be foot.ik.l. So now, as you can see, it does this weird pose. Kind of looks cool at the same time. It's just because our chain length is 0, change that to 2, or however many bones there are on your legs. So change that to 2, and it's going to go back to normal like that. Now, if you see your bones going to be normal, as you can see, and it's kind of glitching because we haven't set a target bone. Otherwise, it's just going to glitch. So we're going to do that right now. So we're going to be over here in edit mode. This is going to be the joint, and for the legs, we're gonna put it in front. E to extrude out, Alt P to clear the parent. And I also think that's kind of what you call it bugging out. Is that it's probably because we hadn't cleared the parent. So it's probably gonna work right now as well. So clear Alt P to clear the parent, already did that. Then I'm gonna grab it and move it over here. Going to be the target pole for this bone. So rename it to target pole for the leg dot L, like that. So over here, I'm gonna go back to pose mode, and then it's going to be armature and target bone dot there. So now if we try it in pose mode, I hope it works. Grab, as you can see, it is working, and as you can see, it does this weird rotation, and it has something to do with the bone. But as you can see, if you do it like this, it just goes that way, and it's not meant to. It's just because our bones are not straight and they're not bent. So I'll just fix that right now. So as you can see, we need to move this bone in edit mode a bit forward, otherwise it doesn't know where to bend. So move that a bit forward, and do the same over here to move that a bit forward like that. And now when we do it, first if we have to reapply the armature, so go back into object mode, select this, shift select that, Alt Control P with automatic weights, and then it'll recalculate everything. Then now if you go into pose mode and then grab this, it should work. Look at that. And then this controls where this is pointing at. So if you move this, it moves with that. Awesome. Now lastly, we're going to do the same thing for that bone, that other leg. Let's quickly do that. And then finally, you will be able to kinematically rig this character. I hope that's a word. I think I just made that up. Anyways, E to extrude this, rename it foot ik dot r. Then we're just going to go over here in pose mode, add a bone constraint inverse kinematics. Target is going to be armature, and the bone is going to be the one that we just renamed foot.ik.r. Then we are just going to, as you can see, it did that weird pose again. Chain length to 2 is going to go back to normal. Then we're just going to go back into edit mode, E to extrude out the target pole, Alt P to clear the parent, and I forgot to do that again. Alt P to clear the parent over here. GY, move it over across there, scale it down so it kind of matches the other target pole. That. Rename it to target pole leg.r. And then we're going to go over here in edit pose mode. Then we're going to target, the pole target is going to be the armature, and the bone is going to be the target pole.r. And as you can see, it kind of did this weird rotation. It normally happens with the pole target. Just quickly change that to 180 degrees. And I think it probably happened with this bone. I don't think it did. Yeah, it's calm. So that is done. Control S, save your file. As you can see, we have finally rigged your character.
Well done for reaching the end of this video. Now you know how to add bones to your character and then rig your character. Apply the armature to your character and then add inverse kinematics to make your posing very easy. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned so much from it. So I'll see you guys in my next video.